Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you may be. CC here, Chris, from New York, Westchester County.
Good drink o'clock to you, whatever brewery you may be in. SS here, Sic from your nightmares, the one with all the stupids. Look, if he's going to do it, I'm going to do it back, to show him how pointless it is.
Now, the problem for Darwin's theory is that...
As always, I'm looking forward to someone who is clearly a galaxy brain explaining something that they have not a single iota of understanding about and just completely shit the bed. It's why I do this. I mean, how else am I supposed to keep myself occupied? Get one of those real jobs people keep talking about? F that noise. Last time I had one of those, they did not appreciate me turning up drunk. But how am I supposed to do barrel rolls in a passenger aircraft without a bit of the old Dutch courage, eh? Those things are fucking dangerous.
Time didn't exist before the Big Bang, so there is no time for God to make the universe in.
I mean, that stands to reason. God never makes time for anything or anyone. I tried to get him to come to my birthday party, but he said he was too busy getting manscaped. But the next day I saw him with his various hairy parts and they were out of control. If you're gonna lie to me, at least make it something a little less obvious, God. You bastard.
There's nothing wrong with fear. Fear preserves you. It stops you stepping off cliffs and stops you jumping without a parachute. Fear is good.
Fear is good, said Ray in a sinister fashion as he revved up his dental drill. Fear stops you doing things that gets you hurt. But fear is also useful, for me. Otherwise, how am I supposed to do a big coom, eh? And that's when the screams began.
They like to do things in threes.
I do drink my whiskies in threes. And then sixes, and then 12s, and then 34s. 470 joch. What was I saying? Oh yeah, stay out of my room, you little shit. That's where I come to do me science and me.
That gets to the question, what happened to dinosaurs?
Isn't it obvious? God was sitting there one day, just chilling out, when suddenly he jumped up and shouted, "Shit, I forgot to put dinosaurs in the Bible!" And so he quickly covered his tracks using his god magic to bury all the dinosaurs on the planet deep underground, while they were still alive, because he thought it was funnier that way. And because humans are so stupid and worthless, he knew they would all forget they existed until they dug one up again. It's rather brilliant if you think about it. For less than a femtoseconds, otherwise you will realise that it's just fucking idiotic, so on brand for God at least.
The top five I'm talking about, the classic demons, are examples of consummate evil.
You already said that. Starting to repeat yourself now. Although, consummate evil, but without being the most powerful? That smacks, to me, like having an evil baby. Like, yeah, sure, like all babies, it wants me dead, but what's it going to do about it? Stab me in the back with 20 knives? Oh, shit, not again.
Willful atheists tend to be angry people.
Angry people. Angry people. How dare you say that to me? I'm not fucking people. Those things are the worst. Walking around the shops, getting between me and my whiskey aisle, giving me sideways glances when I pack said aisle into a single shopping trolley, shouting, "Sir, you need to pay for that," as I barrel towards the exit, hitting as many pensioners as I can for maximum points. And don't get me started on the guys who try to get me to stop while I'm driving away with their stupid lights and dumb sirens. That shit's just distracting. How am I supposed to drink and drive like that? If I kill any more pedestrians, it's your fucking stupid fault. Bloody Echilops.
Just as the Hermetica describes, the universe itself is a living being.
Oh, as the harmonica describes. Well, you didn't say it was the opinion of a mouth organ. No, not that type, you dirty bastards. It's an instrument. I mean, it's a tool for making sweet, sweet music. Shitbags! Is there any way to describe a musical thing that doesn't sound sexual? Musical thing. No, I guess not. So, anyway, a sex whistle says that the universe is a living thing, eh? Well, I'm sold.
This is some copies of a page. This is called The Case of Patience Worth.
Copies of a page? Well, that proves it. Everyone knows that the printing press is the work of Satan. So any book that has been copied millions of times is obviously completely evil and should be destroyed. So we should just start with the most copied of all, right? Oh no, it's the Bible. Oh well, no turning back now. Burn them all.
I was simply challenged by my Christian teammates on the Cincinnati Reds.
Oh God, he's one of those people. I was in a famous sports team, don't you know? Okay, thanks buddy, but that was a really long time ago. You aren't a part of the team anymore. It's time to start accepting that and getting a real job. No, not on PragerU. God damn it.
What's your favorite response to contingency arguments in general?
Or I should say, oi, contingency arguments. No! You're just the cosmological argument in a different hat. God isn't necessary for the existence of other things just because you fucking say he is, you slag.
End of footnote.
Thanks for that. I can never tell when a natural break in a section of dialogue has occurred. That's why I'm so awkward in real-life conversation. They stop talking and then I just stare them down as the tension becomes thicker and thicker, until custard starts forming around us and we all drown. Or they say, your turn to speak. Like a normal, reasonable person who doesn't want to drown in tension custard.
Most often, all things are said to consist of love.
Most things are made of love. How would that even work? What are the constituent properties of love? How is love used in the construction of, well, f***ing anything? I think the only thing that you can make with love is a very sticky, off-putting, quote-unquote, snowman. Mrs. Sic, don't you dare draw that.
You want to know how something works.
Say you want to know how a who-mans works. Well, what you do is, you take that thing and you smash 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 until all the science juice has collected in a pool on the floor, and then you strain the juice until you have an evidence, and then you use that evidence as a base for all your cooking and cleaning needs. Science.
I was interested in everything else.
Everything else? Everything? Well, then we can only conclude that Dennis was in fact a Satan-worshipping, pot-injecting, joyride-taking lunatic who could only feel any joy and satisfaction in his life when he was setting fire to orphanages and kicking puppies off the tops of skyscrapers. But that doesn't make any sense because I don't remember being Dennis growing up.
It says in the Quran, when your Lord took out the offspring from the loins of the children of Adam and made them bear witness about themselves, he said, am I not your Lord?
Wait, he did what now? He took offspring from the loins of children? Now that's a bit f***ed up there, Lord me old China. What did they say? What the hell am I doing here? I didn't ask for this. Maybe you should f*** off with your demands of me if you are going to be peopling without my consent, eh?
These are his legs, and they are the legs and thighs of a human.
Wait, what? They are the legs and thighs of a f***ing man on a dragon? What is even going on right now with this goddamn fever dream? So, not only was this thing mind-bogglingly big, like literally bigger than many countries big, but not only that, has a set of f***ing human legs, like some sort of goofy-ass chimera. And yes, Mrs. Sic, you do need to draw that. If I'm gonna suffer the stupid image in my head, you need to inflict it upon the world.
Think of a firefighter. He's 60 feet up a ladder. In front of him, on a 5-story building, there's a woman and 2 children.
And he's like, hey lady, I would save you, but I saw that dream catcher in your room, so clearly you're some kind of Satan worshipper. Now please mind out of the way for any good Christians that need rescuing, as they have actual value in my eyes, unlike you and your likely bastard children.
We've forgotten one character.
Ah, of course, I know where he's going with this. The cause of all the world's ills. I know him very well. It's fucking Frank, that asshole from down the road. I've seen him hanging around his house like he owns the place. I watch him drive his car into town as if he's allowed to do that. And the way he just exists to spite me is more than I can handle sometimes. Fucking Frank.
The more time you have, the more the universe decays, and the more things become worse.
I mean, that's true. The more time we have, the more time Matt Powell has to become even more of an idiot than he was yesterday. It's the Powell stupidity principle. The longer a creationist has to figure something out, the more likely his conclusion is to be f***ing moronic.
If it exists as a form or field of energy or idealistic material.
What the hell is an idealistic material when it's at home? You know, aside from the obvious bullshit. But the only thing I can think of when I picture an idealistic material is a very happy face cloth, who's just so into whatever's going on right now, because everything is gonna work out fine. What an asshole. Set that prick on fire is what I did. Not so idealistic now, are ya? Oh, thank you for making me warm. Ah!
If the soul exists, it's a part of the universe around you. So you just need to become aware of it and direct it.
Soul! Use soul attack! What do you mean you can't do that? What do you mean you're not a real thing, so you can't have any impact on anything? What do you mean I'm talking to myself? What do you mean this is a Nando's and people are starting to look? What do you mean spend the night in a cell to sober up? Oh, it happened again, didn't it? Putting God in a test tube is a stupid concept anyway. Because, there's lots of things we could never hope to put in a test tube, but we can still know things about them. And, you try putting people into test tubes, and they just start bitching. Shut up, I'm trying to science.
Crick later proposed that the chemical constituents in DNA function like letters in a written language or digital symbols in a computer code.
There's a little bit of that you glossed over here. It's the word like. It means similar to, but not identical. It means that no matter how much they seem comparable to a thing, that doesn't mean they are actually the same thing. Like how a brain is like a computer, but every time I try to download Doom onto Mrs. Sic over USB, she just slaps the flash drive out of my hand and tells me to stop being such a fucking dickhead.
One of her game creatures was a dragon.
Dun dun dun! Look at his fucking face. He's like, aha, see? See how I got them? They have dragons. Dragons! You know, like those totally real things that real. It's supposed to be a fantasy game, but they had real things in it, those stupid bastards. 1 point to Bob, minus infinity million and 50 to RuneScape.
Who do you think of?
Your mum. But then I'm always thinking about her no matter what I'm doing. Fishing, shopping, your dad. Doesn't matter what activity, there she is, telling me what a disappointment you are. Honestly, I'm kind of getting sick of it at this point. And can you tell her to put some goddamn clothes on, please? Christocentric philosophy. That sounds like an exclamation, like you hurt yourself on a piece of random furniture and shout, Christocentric philosophy! It happened again! No, seriously, it happened again. I wasn't even trying to do a sex this time. What the hell is even happening right now? You know what? That fortune teller was right. I am a fucking idiot.
Evolutionists, they would like to argue.
Oh, we certainly do. I made a career out of it. First thing I would like to argue is stop calling us fucking evolutionists. People who understand the scientific fact of evolution are not called evolutionists. We are just called, well, normal people for the most part. Folks who don't buy into a conspiracy theory that makes literally zero sense because they want to feel superior to all those sheeples. I also like to argue that humans are awful, whiskey is mine, and pineapple is a perfectly acceptable topping for your baby sandwich.
This almost cute little creature is so close, I could even reach out and touch it.
I would kick it into the sun for being so fucking stupid. I mean, how dare something exist that is more freaking ludicrous than I am? I worked very hard at being the ridiculous motherfucker I am, and then you come along and spew worse nonsense than I do.
God is a God of pleasure. He constantly motivates his people in the word by promising them pleasures and blessings when they obey him.
All you have to do is tell God how amazing he is, and he will give you a cheeky reach around. Well, if that doesn't convince you not to evict your testicular tenants, I don't know what will.
If God exists, you are of infinite value.
And there it is, isn't it? Religion good, because I want so desperately, not just to feel special, because you know what? Everyone is. Even incredibly normal Bob. All of you are the result of astronomical chance, and you still did it. And if you're watching this video, you managed to take those odds and really just completely waste them on bullshit. I'm so proud of you. But these people want infinite specialness. Imagine being that far up your own goddamn, apparently infinite arse. Infinite poops, people, think about it.
He knows you as a parent knows his child.
If I had kids, I would know them way better than God knows me. I mean, I would. Wait, what? I have who now? 2 of them. When the hell did that happen? Nearly a decade ago, and I see them every single day. No, doesn't ring a bell.
There have been, meteorites or asteroids have struck the Earth, and due to these processes, according to evolution, these are the reasons why we are here. Because of catastrophic events. So all of a sudden, why is it our responsibility?
Because you fucking live there! What the hell is wrong with you? Would you seriously be sat in your house, a wall falls over due to age and disrepair, and you think to yourself, Christ, it's cold in here. Shame it's not my responsibility to stop my house from tumbling down around my ears. Yeah. The Earth is technically not your responsibility in the grand scheme type of way, but that assumes you want to end the human race. When, okay, not gonna lie, I'm on board, but still the principle is the thing.
Hello and welcome.
No. Hello and welcome to you, because I have brought you into my little world to add you to my collection. You see, that's what we do around here. We find all the dumbasses and their stupid opinions, and then we freeze them forever in the comedy equivalent of carbonite, so that hundreds of years from now, explorers will be digging through the internets of yore and discover all my videos covering cretins, and then turn and run away because their cushy future space lives will not have prepared them for this kind of weaponized stupid. But if they had dug a little deeper, they would have found me behind all the videos, drinking whiskey and getting sucked off by a bear. Hey, you got a plan for retirement, kids?
That radiation from your cell phone, router, nearby towers, smart meters, all of your neighborhood's devices,
is so unhealthy that no one has been able to establish a connection between them and various claimed diseases. Because frankly, you get bombarded with more actually potentially harmful radiation from the sun literally every minute of every day, and no one's talking about banning that thing. I mean, they should. It fucking sucks and wakes me up in the morning when I've only had 17 hours of beauty sleep. Being this handsome requires work, and by work I mean no work because I'm asleep.
Consider the possibility that there may be a creator.
Okay, fine. Okay, considered. No, there isn't one. What, not good enough for you? Okay, I'll do it again. Yep, still no G-man. Damn. But just for you, I'm going to give it one more go. But if I don't believe in one for no reason afterwards, I'm blaming you. Oh wow, I actually believe in God now. Why does believing in God taste like copper and smell like burnt toast?
Just think about the process that brought us into existence.
I'll be honest, I don't particularly want to think about my mum and my dad porking, thank you very much. Although I'm happy to think about your mum and dad doing that. I think there's a website or 12 dedicated to those randy fuckers. Right on the breakfast table and everything. Oh, terrible. And yet strangely compelling.
Since you have not created yourself, something must have created you.
Yeah, we already talked about it. Your parents getting it on. Why do you feel the need to bring that up so much? Does someone need therapy for that time you walked in on your mum and dad and the milkman and local fire department and me? Look, son, me and your mother have something to tell you. You're adopted.
The Bible says, I know you live in the city where Satan has his throne.
Well, then the Bible is wrong. I mean, I can only assume that it's talking about me, because why wouldn't it be? And no, there are no Satans in my city. We had a Satanectomy in the 60s, and now we have been living it up Satan-free ever since. And by city, I mean testicles, and by Satans, I of course mean pubic lice.
Even when Antipas, my faithful witness, was martyred among you in Satan's city.
Antipas? Who's that? Some sort of biblical cockblocker? Always with the trying to stop people getting laid in the Bible. No wonder Satan killed the guy. He's all about that, what people choose to do to each other in the privacy of their own home, car, public library, or of course on top of a blimp. That is just between me and Mrs. Sic and the 50,000 people at that sports ball game.
If it starts hurting, and if I punch harder, it's gonna bleed, and if I punch even harder, it's gonna break my bones.
Well, at least he doesn't think he can punch through walls. But I can only assume he came to that conclusion through exhaustive testing, mostly using his head. But to be fair, we've all done that at some point in our lives. Me, every video. At some point, I need to go test a wall with my face to check that it still gives the delightful skull ringing. Really drowns out the stupid.
Accompanying this theme is often violence.
I mean, I certainly will if you don't get to your fucking point there, Roger. Not against you. I'm not the sort to threaten other people, but to myself. Because I will have bashed my stupid metal head in with a fucking steel pole if you don't get a goddamn move on. You know, I don't know what my therapist means when he says I'm impatient. At least that's what I think he was going to say. I beat myself unconscious because he wouldn't hurry the fuck up.
I have that with koalas. Not everybody's going to have it, but I do.
I'm sure there's lots of things you have with koalas, but that's only because humans will never do those things with you. And the only koalas you actually know are the stuffed teddy bear type. Same with all animals, really, since, you know, They can't run away from the terrible things you do to them. I don't really want to say it, but you're gonna have to confront your crimes. You talk to them. Despicable. Hey Paul, how's it going? Welcome to my terrible channel for terrible people. It's too late to back out now.
Frank Turek was wrong. Hell is locked from the outside.
Look, I told you, if you're going to work with me, I was going to bring down the quality of your content and reputation. You just never bothered to ask how far.
The idea that what I see and what I taste and touch and smell and hear and so on is basically real. It's that my senses are informing me truly about the external universe.
Yes, and thankfully there's no such thing as hallucinations or phantom smells or myriad other examples of times when people perceive things that aren't actually there. Thank God for making us so utterly flawless. I mean, it's amazing just how perfect and not correction needing people really are. Paul, I'm over here. Put your fucking glasses on. You're about to walk into traffic, for fuck's sake.
Screw you, Sic. I'm not old enough to be Mr. Magoo. Wait, you're too young to even know who that is, aren't you? Damn it.
Yes, I know who Mr. Magoo is. Now watch out for that truck.
It's also a test to see whether or not you believe God owns everything you have.
If God owns everything, then how can I give him anything? That's like when my kids buy me Christmas presents with my own money. Yeah, it's kinda cute and all, but I really didn't need any of this exercise equipment. I already have 12 titanium gym memberships. Guess I'll just have to chuck them in the bin. The equipment can go in their bedroom then.
So if I go down again...
No, I'm not doing it. That one's a trap, and he's clearly trying to make it too easy for me. And everybody knows that I ain't easy. It takes 2 whole whiskeys before I'll go down on anyone. And 3, and I will go down on anyone. As long as they're a grown-up and they ask very nicely.
What do you think happens, Sam, after somebody dies?
Well, that's when Sam here gets to work. No, don't be disgusting like that. Obviously, after someone dies in his presence, he dresses them up in Victoria-era garb and poses them at delightful tea parties. A completely reasonable thing to do with your spare corpses, I think you will all agree. Then he f***s them, obviously.
The stars in the sky are a simulation. That is the only way that stars can stay in the same position.
Even if we grant you that they're in the same position, how is that the only way? I mean, if we're going to just invent magical, insane explanations for things, the only way stars can be in the same position is if someone accidentally left Earth's handbrake on. Or Van Gogh had to go for a smoke break and didn't think anyone would notice. Or millions of other stupid things that it could be if we're just going to ignore the rules of physics and fucking rationality.
I reiterate for clarity, life has never been observed to come from non-life, and there is no known, observable process by which new genetic information can be added to the genetic code of an organism.
I reiterate, lie, misrepresentation, lie, misunderstanding, outright fabrication, nonsensical gibberish, lie, scientifically illiterate garbage, nonsense, lie. Okay, did I get that down right? I swear these stenography skills are going to be something to fall back on if this whole YouTube thing falls apart. I mean, look, I did it for Kent Hovind's most recent internet debate. I hate paying taxes and love prison food. I'm a goddamn master at this.
When the semen is ejected, you have selected the best part of the body to go out and become to you a useless inert mass.
What are you talking about? Seriously, that is the most asinine shit I've heard in my life. Cock snot is a thing that biologicals tend to be able to generate effectively infinite amounts of, on demand no less, but it's actually the most important substance on Earth. Well, holy shit. Teenage boys to withered old men everywhere are really going out of their way to crash that particular market so hard into the ground, it comes out of the other side of the fucking planet.
The beauty of conception. If you look at an ultrasound and you're telling me there's no God, I don't know what to tell you.
First off, if this guy has ever concepted anyone, I would be fucking staggered. And looking at an ultrasound proves God? What are you, stupid? Never mind, that's me being stupid for even asking. This proves God. Motherfucker, I'm not even convinced that this proves a goddamn baby exists. Because it doesn't look like frickin' anything. I mean, seriously, if you tell me that you can see a baby in that, I'd call you a liar. because that's someone's asshole.
Today we're going to be talking about the Big Bang Theory.
The Big Bang Theory? Awesome. I love me a bit of science and the interesting things we can learn about the universe. Like, did you know that many insects can taste things by using their feet? Lucky bastards. When I stand in other people's food, all that happens to me is what the judge described as technically illegal, but completely deserved. Case dismissed.
It's incredible. The fake stars look like circles. The fake balls up there, they look like circles.
Did you actually forget the word planet? I mean, I'm getting old, and sometimes the more nuanced words with very specific meanings and limited use cases have a bad habit of slipping off the tip of my tongue and into some sort of infinity well until 3 a.m. where I burst awake in a cold sweat screaming, masticating! That's what I meant to say I was doing when that police officer caught me outside a distillery. But yeah, I still know what a fucking planet is called.
Maybe you look a little funny, but that's life. Like, what else do you expect? Am I supposed to be the exact same as everyone else? Are you supposed to be? No.
Seriously, there's both no such thing as the exact same as everyone else, but at the same time, we're all gonna die, we're all gonna cry, and we're all gonna have the occasional extremely painful shit. And if you're really unlucky, all three at the same time.
The octahedron is considered relative to the mind.
By fucking who? And if you say some asshole that no one takes seriously, I will make an earnest effort to melt you with my non-existent mind powers. So hard, I'm not sure they won't form, bending the laws of reality to my whim out of sheer bloody-minded spite.
This is the space shuttle and it's pure fantasy.
Yeah, I know, right? I fantasize about pulling up to the stoplights in one of those babies every single day, and then handing over a jar of grey poupon to a stranger, then rocketing off into the sunset. Unfortunately, when I asked to borrow one of those things, they said things like, how did you get in here? And protect the president from this armoured lunatic. I thought this was America, buddy. Land of the free. To borrow your shit.
What many people aren't aware of
is that creationists are actually born without brains. Instead, there's a little piece of folded paper, and written inside is a list of instructions for how to install an actual brain. See, that's what happens when you go bare bones with your human installation. You forget to put in a vital component, and suddenly it's doing all sorts of shit you didn't want it to. Wait, I might be confusing creationists with personal computers. PCs are the one that are actually useful, yeah?
I said this circle represents knowledge.
If it's the amount of it that you have, I can see why you would choose to represent that with a gigantic 0.
Everything that could ever be known about any subject fits in there.
There's not enough space in there for the infinite power of whiskey, is there? Otherwise, it wouldn't be a finite shape like that. Checkmate Crims Bante. 1 point to Whiskey-ismo.
They were deformed, twisted, grotesque creatures.
You're one to talk. Again, you're a humans, the worst looking things in the universe. I mean, what's with that weird tuft of hair on top of your heads? Or that you make all those weird smells and the noises. Oh God, the thing you do with your mouth. Some think it's used to communicate with each other, but I'm pretty sure it's only ever used to demonstrate hostility. If a humans ever starts making mouth sounds at any of you, I suggest you make a hasty retreat before they attack with their fearsome gonads.
I can 100% prove to you that 2 plus 2 is always going to equal 4.
Yeah, see, fun fact, just saying 2 plus 2 equals 4 is actually wrong. Well, it might be right, but it depends what those numbers actually represent. Because yeah, 2 glasses of whiskey plus 2 glasses of whiskey equals 4 glasses of delicious whiskey. But if we have 1 glass of whiskey chilled to 2 degrees C and pour in another glass of 2 degrees C whiskey into the same container, then 2 plus 2 equals 0. Because I already drank both the first 4 and these additional glasses while you were distracted trying to figure out where I was going with this. Haha, fools.
If you have been following my channel...
Oh, it's like he knows us. I feel really seen right now. Which is unsurprising, I am very fat. I'm almost as visible as that Truman Show set from space. I like to stare at astronauts on the ISS because it really freaks them out. Why do you think they don't report it? No one will believe you.
Who helped discover DNA, also proposed the idea that ETs seeded life on Earth to set the evolutionary process in motion.
Wow, that's actually true. Crick and another fella who I'm going to butcher his name, Orgel, presented directed panspermia as a plausible explanation for the origins of life on Earth. However, with a massive caveat being that they described directed panspermia as highly unorthodox proposal and bold speculation. That's not exactly the, this is what scientists say happened. Let's all laugh at them while we masturbate over our book that said God sacrificed himself to forgive the sins that he made us do. Just saying.
There are some female atheists out there.
Are there? Wow, I had no idea. Hey, Miss Sic, did you know that there are female atheists? Why are you looking at me with your no shit Sherlock face? Well look, I had no idea that women could find the claims of a god or gods to be unconvincing. I thought you lot were too busy thinking about monster trucks and dinosaurs doing sick tricks on skateboards to give that any thought.
Like saying, I don't believe in the musical note C because I can't smell it.
No, it's like saying, I don't believe in the person William Riker, who is the second in command of the Starship Enterprise D, because he's a fictional character from a TV show with no physical evidence and the world he exists in being real. A completely reasonable thing to say. Your argument against that is like saying, I don't believe in the musical note Jonathan Frakes because my spoon is made of gloves.
Certain illuminated individuals.
The f*** is an illuminated individual? Were they like really, really shiny? Or do you mean they're part of the Illuminati? Because here's the thing about secret societies that rule the entire world with an iron fist. They definitely don't want kids in their ranks. Kids are fucking stupid and do stupid things all the time, including talking incessantly about the secret club mummy and daddy take them to on weekends, where they make fun of all the normals and drink glasses of blood brandy out of solid gold mugs, which are then melted down and poured into the eyes of homeless people. I still haven't gotten over getting kicked out of that, I'm not gonna lie. No, wait, I mean...
just speaking the words of life, the words of eternal life.
Eternal life, eh? Prove it then. I mean, if those words have the power to do that, then you should be able to demonstrate it. Oh no, it only works after you're dead and you can't come back to tell anyone about it. Oh, well, fuck me, I guess you got us. Except that's exactly the kind of thing I would say if I wanted idiots to believe me without having to prove anything. Like if I said, I have a glass of infinite whiskey, but it will only work as long as I use it in my secret vault away from prying eyes. And if anyone else sees it, it stops working. I mean, that would be ridiculous, right? There's no such thing as an infinite whiskey glass. So there's no reason for any of you lot to start snooping around. Okay?
If you study science deep enough and long enough
and hard enough to thrust your sweaty naked body into the science over and over again, you will really start to produce some hot, steamy science. No, wait, I'm thinking about porn. As usual, because I'm such a dirty, filthy sinner.
Since sexual desire seems to be the most powerful, I usually run with that.
So he's lazy. Cool. But we all know that's not even true. The strongest desire in humans is well known, especially to me. It's the overwhelming desire to talk to me in public all the time, even with all the obvious warning signs that they shouldn't do that, no matter how many times I punt them across the universe, or scream unendingly, or just plain run away. They are just intent on making those goddamn mouth noises again and again and again. Would you please stop?
Yet still be strong enough to ram something, even while running.
There's a joke in there about ramming things like, say, this entire video up your backside, but I'm not going to make such a crude joke. And if you think I would do such a thing, well, you can take your video and you can ram it up your ass.
Why is this important?
Because I'm an atheist and I am important. Therefore, atheism is important. The most important because of just how important I am. How do I know I'm important? Because my doctor told me I'm important, and I'm going to let everyone know just how important I am.
The Bible is the highest selling, most read book on the planet, and no other book comes close.
Well, that's only because my book, Your Whiskey and Why It's All Mine, hasn't come out yet. That is only because I haven't written it yet and have no intention of writing it and don't have the skill to write anything at all. But if I did, I tell you what, like bloody hotcakes that thing would sell.
Similarity doesn't prove evolution at all.
On its own, I guess, when you stack all the other things next to it, it is exactly what one expects to find if it were true. Which it again absolutely is. But sure, let's find out how that's not the case, probably because lies and Bibles. The worst brand of cereal there is, mostly because of all the broken glass. I will take this opportunity to plug my merch, since the company I use for it has finally stopped f***ing me about with payments. And if you don't want that, but still want to throw some money at my face, I guess I'll just tell you to go and give me some money for nothing instead. I promise you it will be spent on killing brain cells with whiskey, aka being able to continue making this shit for as long as possible. Thanks, whiskey, you're the best.